Oh man. Alright, what's going on, man? It's your boy Credit Cloth, and I'm back with another video, man. Looking for my starting show. I'm not going nowhere. Alright, so if you've been on my channel within the past 2 to 3 months, there's no hiding it. I absolutely love everything that falls under the umbrella of Flightposite. Even when I say Flightposite, there's a lot that falls under that umbrella, given that the Flightposite One is the initiator of all this. But there's a lot that falls under that. Again, we got the Flightposite, we got the Flightposite, they got the Flightposite boot. They have, a lot of things that fall under the Flightposite umbrella. For the most part, I like everything that they do, given a few exceptions. I ain't gonna say which ones, but there are a few where I'm just like, I don't know what y'all was cooking, but y'all could have left these alone. And to really drive this point home when it comes to my love for Flightposites, one of the longest lasting sneakers to survive in my closet throughout the years, it's been 10 years, these shoes have remained in my closet, is a pair of Flightposites exposed. And I was actually today years old when I figured out that this pair of Flightposites is called, or has the tag exposed, which when I looked into it, there aren't many exposed Flightposites. And when I say exposed, I mean without the zipper. A lot of the Flightposites that are out there in the world are the ones that you've seen before probably, are concealed behind the zipper that have like the glove closure. These are going to be an exposed pair, meaning that they almost resemble a Flightposite One or Pro, given that, it's kind of just open here. And I was just like, wow, there aren't many Flightposite exposed pairs. And I feel like they can definitely drive that point home now, given that I feel like the Flightposite with the glove closure kind of feels a little restraining. And I feel like if you're not playing basketball and you just kind of want to rock these just as for fun, I feel like the exposed pairs will get a little bit more traction, or I just feel like they'll be a little bit more consumable rather than the pair that are, behind the closure zipper. That's just my opinion. I got those Flightposites in 2014. I'm sure there was a lot of different things going on as far as manufacturing in 2014 with Nike. The Flightposites that I just got versus the Flightposites that I have, which are the Flightposite One, I was like, there is such a big difference. And just me being naive, I was like, okay, they're the same material. There's gonna be slight differences just because like the shoe is a different model. And when I did my review for the Flightposites, I was like, these are very different. Like, although they fall under the same family of sneaker, I was like, these are very different. So I want to make a video on the difference between the Flightposite versus the Flightposite One. I don't know. And this is basically gonna be the differences I noticed between the two pairs. Number one, this one is gonna be almost immediately. I'm talking instantaneously. Soon as I put my hand on this sneaker, I knew in my mind the experience in this shoe was gonna be completely different. When I touched the Flightposite, when I unboxed this shoe and I felt it in my hand, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's not gonna be the same. And again, that naiveness in me completely went out the window. This shoe compared to this shoe, it's night and day. And I wouldn't say there's a great margin of just like difference between the weight, but like the Flightposite, bro, this shoe is so light compared to the Flightposite One, where it's like, it has a little bit more weight to it. And it was like, I'm telling you, as soon as I put my hands on this, I was like, I can see why this sneaker would take priority over the Flightposite One. Because if you're a hooper, they have the ventilation here, you have the zipper closure here, kind of keeping your foot a little bit more secure, almost providing ankle support, versus where this one's a little bit more open, not really much ankle support. And you would have to tie it to really get that like tight feel if you're on a court hooping. But these, I can see why someone would take priority rocking these over the Flightposite One, just because like it's super light, has that air ventilation, has that, your foot's a little bit more secure. And I was like, it is such a night and day difference as far as like when I'm just casually rocking the Flightposite and I feel how light it feels just walking versus when I have this pair on, it's like, I'm not clunking around in these, but these definitely have a weight to it that I notice it every time I put them on. I'm just like, these are very different sneakers. So if you are someone who's looking to buy either a Flightposite or a Flightposite, and I don't know why you would be caught between the two, I feel like people typically lean towards one versus the other. But if you are taking into consideration buying one or the other, you definitely want to take into consideration what you're buying it for. So if you're buying something for hooping, I would almost say you want to go with the Flight just because you have a little bit more security, you have a little bit more, you know, airflow through the shoe, and it's like there's a little bit more protection, I would say. Versus if you want to go with this pair, you'll probably have to tie it all the way up, go to the last notch, kind of secure your foot, really like, you know, strangle your foot at the bottom to really get that feel that your foot is in place. But that is definitely the first thing that I noticed when I unboxed the Flightposite. I've had these a little bit longer, but when I unboxed the Flightposite, I was like, oh, the Flightposite is lighter than all can be, bro. It feels like a really light sneaker. So that is gonna be the first thing I noticed. Number 2, although I was just hyping up the Flightposite, I do feel like the Foamposite One is a little truer to size. Although I would say the Flightposite is true to size, I can see a world where someone might have to go a half size up, especially if you plan on lacing all your sneakers all the way up. Me, I loose tie all my sneakers. And by loose tie, this is what I mean, and this is what I mean on here. Even though I loose tie all my sneakers, I do put them on when I get the sneakers initially, when they're factory laced. And I'll just say, like, the Flightposite, I do see a world where someone might have to go a half size up, because not only do you have the lacing system, you also have the zipper closure that kind of encapsulates your foot in the shoe. And this shoe is already very narrow. I talked about this in my review of these. This shoe is very narrow. Compared to the Foamposite One that doesn't really go in like this, it kind of just stays true throughout the sneaker going this way, versus how the Flightposite here kind of goes in and then it expands out. Like, I can see if you need a little extra room, if you have like a wider foot, I do see the potential of someone going a half size up in the Flightposite compared to the Foamposite One, where I feel like you can stick to your true size. Whatever your true size is, I feel like you can stick with that with the Foamposite One versus the Flightposite, where you might, I can see it now, where someone might need to go a half size up in these sneakers. And the last thing I will mention, just because like it's something that I did take note of, it's something that does frustrate me, just because I want to be able to rock my sneakers with absolutely anything. The Flightposite, it has the Velcro closure, but then it also has the zipper closure. Right here, because I rock these with a pair of fleece sweatpants, you know, what does Velcro do? Attach to other materials and kind of just takes it in. And I do find that annoying because I do want to just rock this with sweatpants sometimes, and I feel like they do look good with sweatpants. But every time that I rock something that has like a different material other than just like regular cotton or canvas, stuff gets caught in it and I do have to take some time to clean it out. But other than that, like, it's not really a big issue. It's just something that I did take note of, because with my sneakers, I want to be able to rock it with everything. And I hate kind of just having to take lint or whatever the material is out of the Velcro part here, because I don't plan on ever rocking this sneaker like this unless I'm going to hoop somewhere. And that's very unlikely. And that's really going to be the last thing I want to mention. Again, I really love Flightposites, Foamposites, Clogposites, you know, most of the things that fall under the Foamposite umbrella. I do hope for in 2025 that we get more Flightposites that are exposed, because I feel like this just opens up the door to, you know, do a little bit more as far as like styling, just because the closure does make this shoe really slim. I'm talking like almost too slim, where like, you know, if you're somebody that leans towards like baggy or even just shorts, it kind of just looks kind of awkward. Like, it doesn't really fit. So like, that's why I've been mostly rocking these unzipped, because it kind of adds a little bit of layers to it. But I hope to see more Flightposites exposed, just because there aren't many currently. And I think that given that Foamposites is having this resurgence, I can see the potential of what the Flightposite exposed can do. Like, just humor me. CDG takes the Flightposite, gives it this Uzumaki, this spiral indentation on this sneaker. Oh, you have a trending Flightposite now. That's it. But I just thought about this video randomly. I was sitting at home, I was thinking about the differences that I've, you know, experiences that I've had with the Flightposite versus the Foamposite. I just wanted to make this quick video. Again, this is not going up on my regular scheduled days. This is an extra video. But without further ado, like I always do, I'll catch you in the next one.
But I love the way you work it. Hey, I love the way you work it.